Have you ever felt a sudden chill, an unexplained unease, or noticed strange creatures around you that seem out of place? Today, we'll explore how nature itself sends us subtle but powerful warnings through insects that something unseen is trying to influence your life. It's time to open your eyes and ears to these natural alerts before it's too late. Have you ever stopped to consider that the small creatures buzzing, crawling, or fluttering around us might be trying to send us a message? Insects are often overlooked, dismissed as mere pests or harmless visitors. But what if I told you that these tiny beings are actually spiritual messengers, warning us of things far beyond the physical world? That's right, nature speaks in a language many fail to hear, and insects are some of its most profound messengers. Look closely at the world around you. There are moments when a sudden swarm of flies invades your space for no apparent reason, or when a lone spider appears in places that feel eerie, even threatening. These are not random acts of nature, but signal signs that something invisible is trying to disrupt the balance of your life. Insects have been part of our environment since the dawn of time, and their presence often correlates with unseen forces at play. Why should we pay attention? Because these creatures act as nature's early warning system. Just as a canary in a coal mine once alerted miners to dangerous gases, insects alert us to spiritual disturbances or interference in our lives. When you notice certain insects appearing repeatedly or in unusual ways, it's a prompt to look deeper. It's a call to raise your awareness, to tune into a level of reality that is often ignored but profoundly real. Take the example of the common housefly. While usually regarded as annoying when it appears persistently, it may signify that negative energies are trying to infiltrate your space, energies that seek to weaken your spirit, your focus, and your progress. Or consider the spider weaving its intricate web, a symbol of unseen traps being laid, waiting to ensnare the unsuspecting. The arrival of such insects is rarely coincidence. It is nature's way of telling you to be vigilant, to guard your mind and your environment. This is not just about fear or superstition. It's about understanding the subtle, often overlooked ways that life communicates with us. To live wisely, we must learn to read the signs in our environment, to interpret the signals that can save us from harm. The key is observation, being present and open to receiving messages from the smallest of messengers. But which insects specifically carry these messages? And how do we differentiate between ordinary encounters and those loaded with warning? More importantly, how do we respond when these messages appear? The answers are waiting, but they come with an invitation to look closer, to trust your instincts, and to become more attuned to the hidden world around you. As we move forward, we'll uncover the secret roles of 10 particular insects that have been known throughout history to signal witchcraft and unseen negative forces in our lives. From the buzzing of the bee to the eerie flutter of the moth, each insect carries a story, a message that could be the key to protecting yourself and your family. So what is the next insect that you must never ignore? Which small creature's presence could reveal the most about the spiritual battles you face? Stay with me, because the next revelation will change the way you see the world forever. The rustle of leaves, the sudden flight of birds, and yes, the very insects that surround us are part of a hidden language. This language is ancient, powerful, and often ignored. But what if I told you that insects are not just part of the natural world, but messengers carrying urgent warnings about forces beyond what the eye can see? They are nature's way of communicating with us, especially when something dangerous is creeping into our life. Nature does not communicate in words like we do, but through signs and symbols. And insects, with their sudden appearances and strange behaviors, are part of this symbolic language. When you begin to decode these signals, you start to see the pattern. You begin to understand that a fluttering moth near your window or an unusual swarm of ants invading your space could be far more than random. They could be the natural alarms sounding off, alerting you to spiritual interference, to energy that seeks to disrupt your peace, your progress, your very destiny. This hidden language is precise. Each insect carries a meaning, a message, and a warning. Some insects are messengers of chaos, others of entrapment, while some bring signals of transformation. If you ignore these signs, you risk walking blindly into traps laid by forces that work in the shadows. But when you learn to listen, to truly listen, you gain a powerful advantage. You become aware, you become prepared, and you reclaim control over your environment. Take the ants for example. Ants work together with purpose and precision. But when you see ants invading your home in unusual numbers, especially without a clear reason, this might indicate a spiritual invasion or disruption. It's a sign that negative forces are attempting to enter your life in a way that seems small but can quickly grow out of control if unchecked. Ants remind us that even the smallest intrusions can lead to bigger problems. They warn you to act swiftly and decisively. Then consider the moth, drawn to light but moving in the dark. The moth's behavior is symbolic of confusion, deception, and enticement. When moths start appearing unexpectedly, especially near your home or workspace, it could mean that forces of trickery or manipulation are at work. These forces want to lure you into darkness while pretending to offer light. The message here is clear: be careful where you place your trust and what influences you allow near. When we learn this language, we gain the wisdom to protect ourselves. We move from being victims of circumstance to becoming masters of our own destiny. We see beyond the surface, understanding that the natural world is more connected to the spiritual than we ever imagined. This is the knowledge that can keep you safe and empowered. So what are the other insects that carry these hidden messages? Which ones signal danger so strong that ignoring them could cost you dearly? Next, we will reveal the role of another insect, one whose presence is often misunderstood, yet carries a powerful warning you can't afford to miss. Stay with me because the next message will change how you view the unseen forces shaping your life. Have you ever wondered how some messages come not through words, but through signs so subtle, yet so powerful, that ignoring them could cost you everything? The world around us is filled with signals, especially from creatures so small that we often overlook their importance. Insects don't just exist, they communicate. They carry messages that alert us to things unseen, forces working in the background of our lives. These are signals of disruption, interference, and sometimes danger. But how do we decode these signals? How do we recognize the warnings in the flutter of wings or the crawl of tiny legs? It starts with awareness. When an insect behaves unusually, appears unexpectedly, or lingers longer than it should, it is speaking a language of warning. Each insect has a code, a message carried through its behavior, its presence, and even its timing. To decode these signals, you must become an observer of life's finer details. This means paying attention not only to what is happening, but also to how it happens. Consider the praying mantis, a creature both fascinating and unsettling. When the praying mantis suddenly appears near you, it is not just a coincidence. This insect is known for its stillness, its watchful nature, and its powerful presence. It signals that you are under spiritual surveillance, that unseen eyes are watching your every move. The mantis warns of hidden dangers lurking, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. It's a call to remain vigilant, to strengthen your defenses, and to not let your guard down. Or think about the cockroach, an insect most avoid, but one that carries a message few understand. When cockroaches invade your space persistently, it is a sign that negative energies are attempting to survive, no matter how much you try to push them away. They symbolize persistence in the face of opposition, a warning that dark forces will not give up easily. They urge you to intensify your efforts to cleanse your life and environment, because these forces want to settle in, to corrupt, and to destroy. Then there's the cicada, famous for its loud, piercing sound that breaks silence in the dead of night. When the cicada's song surrounds you unexpectedly, it is a call to awaken, to become aware of the spiritual battle raging around you. The cicada's cry warns that deception is near, and that the noise of confusion is trying to drown out your clarity. It invites you to seek truth and silence the distractions that cloud your judgment. Recognizing these insect signals means stepping into a new level of understanding, a level where nature and the unseen world intersect. It's about knowing that what appears small and insignificant is actually monumental. The insects remind us that there is always more going on than meets the eye, and those who learn to read these signs gain power over what others may. So what other insect holds a warning so potent that ignoring it could lead to devastating consequences? The next creature we will explore carries a silent but deadly message, one that you must never overlook if you want to protect your life and those you love. Stay close, because this next revelation could save you from a trap you never saw coming. Have you ever sensed that something in your environment feels off, yet you can't quite put your finger on it? That nagging feeling, that unease, sometimes it's nature trying to warn you. Insects, though small and often ignored, are some of the most powerful indicators of spiritual disturbances or negative influences trying to invade your life. They are the subtle alarms that flash when danger is near. But what makes these insects such potent symbols? It's because they don't just exist. They react, adapt, and often appear in response to unseen forces trying to disrupt your peace. Imagine this: a sudden invasion of mosquitoes when you're trying to rest, or a swarm of black beetles crossing your path when you're on a crucial journey. These are not mere coincidences. Insects behave like nature's sentinels, responding to changes in the spiritual atmosphere around you. They can sense shifts in energy, in the unseen currents that most people miss. When these insects appear persistently or in unusual numbers, it's a sign that spiritual interference is at work, that there are forces attempting to influence your life in ways you cannot yet see. But how do these insects act as indicators of spiritual interference? Take the mosquito, for example, a tiny creature, yet a carrier of irritation and disease. When mosquitoes increase around you without explanation, it is a warning that irritation, conflict, or even harm is being stirred up in your life. They symbolize persistent disturbances that drain your energy and focus, much like how mosquitoes drain your blood. Their presence urges you to protect your space and your spirit from negative influences that want to weaken you. Or look at the beetle, often associated with resilience and transformation, but also with stubbornness and hidden threats. When black beetles invade your home or workspace, it's a sign that unwanted spiritual forces are present, forces that are patiently waiting, growing stronger in the shadows. They may seem slow or harmless, but beetles are survivors. They remind us that negative energies can settle in quietly, unnoticed, yet become a powerful barrier to your success and happiness, if not addressed. Insects are more than just part of the natural ecosystem. They are nature's watchdogs, reacting to the spiritual climate around us. When you begin to recognize these patterns, you start to see beyond the physical and into the spiritual battle taking place. You realize that your environment is not neutral. It reflects the energies you carry and those trying to influence you. This awareness empowers you to take action. It compels you to clean your space, to protect your mind and emotions, and to stand firm against whatever spiritual interference is at play. Ignoring these signs leaves you vulnerable. Listening to them equips you with foresight and strength. What other insect appears as a silent harbinger of trouble, one whose presence demands immediate attention and action? The next creature we reveal carries a warning that is as subtle as it is urgent. Stay with me, because this next discovery will sharpen your awareness and heighten your defense like never before. Have you ever noticed how something as small as an insect can stir a feeling of discomfort or alarm in your life? Sometimes it's not just a passing annoyance, but a powerful warning from nature itself, an alert that unseen forces are trying to disrupt your peace, your progress, your very existence. Insects don't just fly or crawl around us by chance. Their sudden presence, their unusual behavior, these are signals, messages from the spiritual realm, carried through nature's most unlikely messenger. Think about the wings of a butterfly, normally a symbol of beauty and transformation, but what if that fluttering comes at a moment when your spirit feels unsettled? Or the relentless buzzing of a bee near your home, small, persistent, and impossible to ignore. These insects are nature's alarms, each carrying a unique warning wrapped in their movement, their sound, and their presence. When they appear unexpectedly, they are signaling disruption. Something is out of balance, and the insect's role is to draw your attention to that fact. The butterfly's sudden appearance during difficult times is not always a sign of hope. It can also signal vulnerability. Butterflies are delicate creatures, easy prey to forces stronger than themselves. When they start showing up in your environment more than usual, it could mean that your defenses are down. You are exposed to influence that can harm you spiritually or mentally. This is nature's way of asking you to guard your mind and emotions, because the forces seeking to unsettle you are watching closely. Then there's the bee, a creature known for its order and productivity. When a bee begins to hover around you or your home without a clear reason, it's a persistent reminder that the harmony of your life is at risk. Bees work tirelessly to protect their hive, and their presence warns you to be just as vigilant, because disruption often comes disguised as opportunity. What seems like a chance or a new path might be a trap, set to distract or derail you from your true purpose. Insects like these remind us that spiritual battles are not always loud or obvious. Often they come quietly through small disturbances in our environment. The flutter of wings, the buzz of a bee, are subtle reminders that the unseen world is at work. These creatures are guardians in disguise, urging you to pay attention, to stand firm, and to protect what is yours. What happens when these insect warnings are ignored? When you dismiss the small signs, the disruptions grow larger and more dangerous. But what if there is an insect whose warning is so strong, so direct, that ignoring it could lead to serious consequences? The next insect we explore sends a message that demands immediate attention and action. Stay close, because what you're about to hear could change how you protect your life forever. Have you ever sensed a shift in the energy around you, something you cannot see but you can feel? Sometimes that feeling comes with signs, so subtle, so quiet that only those who truly pay attention catch them. Among the most powerful of these signs are the insects around us. These tiny creatures, often dismissed or ignored, are actually sentinels in the battle between light and darkness, order and chaos. When negative energy tries to invade your life, insects become the first to react. They are like nature's own radar, picking up disturbances that threaten your well-being. Imagine this: a sudden appearance of ants crawling across your doorstep, or an unexpected swarm of gnats hovering near your window. These are not random acts of nature. They are indicators that there is spiritual interference nearby. Negative energy moves like a silent enemy, creeping into spaces unnoticed. But insects are sensitive to this energy. They sense it before we do, and their behavior shifts accordingly. When you notice these changes, it's a call to action, a warning that forces are at work, trying to disrupt your life. Why do these insects signal disruption? Because they thrive or appear in environments where energy is weak, chaotic, or unsettled. Take gnats, for example, tiny persistent pests that swarm when conditions become stagnant. Their presence warns that your energy field is compromised, that negative influences are attempting to settle in and cause confusion or distress. They serve as nature's alert system, pushing you to clear the air around you, both literally and figuratively. Ants, on the other hand, represent order and teamwork. But when ants invade unexpectedly, it means that disorder is sneaking into your life in subtle ways. They warn you that unseen forces are coordinating against you, trying to break down your defenses bit by bit. This is a reminder that spiritual battles are not always dramatic. They often unfold quietly, through small persistent disruptions that weaken you over time. What makes these insect warnings so critical is their persistence. They don't come and go with the wind, they stick around, and that persistence is a signal that the interference is ongoing, growing stronger, and that ignoring these signs puts you at risk of being overwhelmed. Recognizing these warnings early can make the difference between remaining in control or becoming a victim to forces that seek to undermine your peace and progress. So how do you respond to these insect alerts? How do you protect yourself from the disruption they signify? The first step is awareness, learning to see beyond the surface, and understanding that these creatures are nature's messengers, carrying messages you cannot afford to ignore. The next step is action, clearing your space, strengthening your boundaries, and refusing to let the negative forces take root. But what about the insects that don't just warn, but actively signal entrapment? forces that want to ensnare you completely. The next insect we explore carries a message so powerful, so urgent, that ignoring it could leave you caught in a trap you never saw coming. Stay close, because the next revelation will sharpen your senses and prepare you to defend your life like never before. Have you ever felt trapped in a situation you couldn't explain? Like invisible forces are tightening around you, pulling you deeper into confusion, struggle, or despair? Sometimes these traps are not just metaphorical, they are very real spiritual snares hidden in plain sight. And one of the most surprising ways these snares reveal themselves is through the presence of insects. Yes, insects. These small creatures are not only messengers, but sometimes they are signs that you are caught in a web of interference forces that want to hold you back, to entangle your life in difficulty. When certain insects start appearing persistently around you, especially in places you consider safe, they are signaling more than just a nuisance. They are warnings of entrapment. They are nature's way of telling you that the energy around you is being manipulated, that there are traps laid out to weaken your resolve, your spirit, and your progress. The question is, how do you recognize these insect warnings before it's too late? Take the spider, for instance, not just a creature spinning webs, but a symbol of entrapment itself. When a spider builds its web near you, especially inside your living or working space, it's more than a coincidence. It's a sign that invisible traps are being woven around you, snares designed to slow you down or hold you captive. Spiders remind us that forces often work silently, patiently, weaving complexity so intricate that escaping becomes difficult unless you see the web clearly and act decisively. Then there's the firefly, a creature that shines bright in the darkness. Yet, its light is deceptive. It flickers, luring attention but offering no real guidance. When fireflies swarm unexpectedly, they can symbolize false hope or misleading influences. It's a warning that what seems like an opportunity or a way out may actually be a trap designed to keep you distracted, confused, and caught in cycles that prevent growth. Recognizing these signs is crucial because entrapment is rarely obvious until it's too late. It creeps in slowly, disguised as normal challenges, but with roots that go deep into the unseen. Insects become signals of these hidden battles, clues that demand vigilance and wisdom. They urge you to question your environment, to examine your relationships, and to identify what or who might be pulling you into the trap. Understanding these insect warnings gives you the power to break free. When you notice these creatures appearing more frequently, don't dismiss it as chance. Instead, take it as a call to assess your surroundings, to protect your mind and your spirit, and to seek clarity. The insects are showing you where the web is strongest, so you can choose to avoid it or cut yourself free. But what if there is an insect whose presence signals not just entrapment, but a direct challenge to your strength and resilience? The next insect we will explore carries a message of confrontation, warning you to stand firm or risk losing everything. Stay with me because what you're about to discover could redefine how you face your greatest battles. Moments when challenges pile up and every step forward seems blocked by an invisible force. In these moments, the smallest things, like the presence of certain insects, can reveal profound truths about the battles you're fighting. These creatures carry messages not just of warning, but of confrontation. They signal that the fight is real, the stakes are high, and the outcome depends on your ability to stand strong. One such insect is the hornet, a fierce creature known for its aggression and painful sting. When hornets begin to appear near you, they are more than a physical threat. They symbolize spiritual opposition, a warning that forces are mobilizing against you, preparing to attack your progress, your peace, your very purpose. The hornet's presence is a loud call to be alert, to strengthen your defenses, and to refuse to back down. Their sting represents the harsh consequences of ignoring this warning. Why does the hornet's message matter so much? Because it signals that the opposition you face is not random. It's targeted, deliberate, and relentless. Just like hornets attack in swarms, so too can negative forces come at you from multiple angles, overwhelming your senses and threatening to break your resolve. This is a time to stand firm, to be courageous, and to understand that the battle you face is significant, but not without hope. Then there's the wasp, another aggressive insect that warns of conflict and confrontation. Wasps do not attack without reason, but when provoked, they strike quickly and with precision. Their presence in your environment can indicate that conflict is imminent or already underway. It's a signal to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally, to avoid unnecessary fights, but to also not shy away from standing your ground when it matters most. These insects remind us that opposition is part of life's journey, especially when you are on a path towards something greater. They teach us that challenges are not just obstacles but tests of strength, endurance, and character. Recognizing the signs of hornets and wasps in your life helps you anticipate attacks and respond wisely, rather than react in fear or confusion. This understanding changes your perspective. Instead of feeling like a victim caught in a storm, you begin to see yourself as a warrior, equipped to face whatever comes your way. You learn to respect the warnings nature gives, to listen closely, and to prepare accordingly. The insects are not enemies, they are messengers. Messengers urging you to be vigilant, to be strong, and to keep moving forward despite the stings and threats. But what if there's an insect whose message goes beyond confrontation, signaling deep transformation through intense trial? The next insect carries a warning wrapped in change, one that challenges you to embrace discomfort for growth. Stay with me because the next revelation will unlock a new level of understanding about the forces shaping your life. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the most unexpected creatures bring the loudest warnings? It's fascinating how insects, often overlooked, can serve as powerful messengers of change and challenge. When certain insects invade your space, it's more than just a nuisance. It's a signal from the unseen world that something significant is unfolding, something that demands your attention, your strength, and your readiness to face transformation. Consider the dragonfly, a creature known for its swift, unpredictable flight and shimmering wings. The dragonfly's sudden appearance in your life is rarely accidental. It carries a message wrapped in change, urging you to prepare for transformation through trial. Dragonflies don't just fly, they dart in quick bursts, changing direction suddenly, symbolizing that your path may soon be altered in ways that require agility and adaptability. When dragonflies swarm or linger unusually, they warn you that the challenges ahead won't be easy. They demand that you embrace discomfort, that you lean into the struggles rather than resist them. This insect's presence reminds you that transformation often comes through intense experiences, moments that test your patience, your faith, and your determination. The dragonfly teaches that these trials are not punishments, but necessary steps toward growth and renewal. What makes this warning so critical? Because transformation without preparation can be devastating. The dragonfly signals that you must be ready to navigate unpredictable shifts in your life. You must develop resilience, sharpen your instincts, and stay focused on your ultimate purpose, even when the path seems uncertain. The wings of the dragonfly, delicate yet strong, symbolize the balance you need to strike, being flexible without losing your core strength. This insect's message challenges the idea of control. It asks you to accept that not everything will go according to plan, and that the greatest growth often happens when you surrender to the process. The dragonfly encourages you to look beyond immediate discomfort and see the bigger picture, the transformation that awaits on the other side of struggle. Recognizing this sign means tuning into the deeper rhythms of life. It means understanding that your trials are not random, but part of a greater design, preparing you for something new and greater than before. The dragonfly warns that resistance to change only prolongs suffering, while acceptance and adaptability accelerate your journey forward. So how do you respond when the dragonfly appears? How do you harness its message to turn trials into triumphs? The answer lies in your willingness to stay present, to learn from every challenge, and to trust that the transformation is shaping you into who you are meant to become. But what if there is an insect whose presence signals not transformation, but a final warning, a last chance to protect yourself before chaos breaks loose? The next insect carries a message so urgent, it demands your full attention. Stay close because what comes next could change everything you thought you knew about protection and survival. Have you ever felt that moment of sudden alarm, a presence so intense, so overwhelming, that it stops you in your tracks? There is an insect whose appearance carries this exact weight. It is not just a warning, it's a signal that chaos is near, that your life is on the brink of upheaval unless you act swift. This insect is the locust, the harbinger of destruction, swarming in numbers, capable of devastation that leaves no room for hesitation. When locusts invade, it is never random. Their swarm is a powerful symbol of overwhelming forces converging against you, threatening to consume everything you've built. And imagine a wave of locusts descending suddenly, darkening the skies, stripping away the harvest, the resources, the very foundation of security. This is the energy they carry, intense, relentless, and catastrophic. Their presence warns that if you do not respond immediately and wisely, your life could face severe losses. Locusts remind us that some challenges don't come gently, they come in waves, masses of difficulty that demand every ounce of your strength, every measure of your wisdom. When you see the signs of a locust invasion, it's a call to prepare for a battle of endurance and strategy. This is not the time to be passive or unaware, it's a time to stand firm, to protect your resources, your peace, and your future. What makes the locust's warning so urgent? Because unlike other insects, locusts represent a collective force, a swarm that multiplies impact exponentially. One locust may be a nuisance, but thousands can bring ruin. This teaches a vital lesson. The dangers you face are not always isolated. They can be overwhelming, coordinated attacks on your well-being. Recognizing this helps you understand the scale of the opposition and the need for unity, focus, and resilience. The locust also teaches about cycles, the rise and fall, the seasons of plenty and scarcity. Their swarm disrupts, but it also signals a turning point. When the locust comes, it's a reminder that disruption is often a precursor to renewal. The challenge is to survive the storm and come out stronger on the other side. So how do you face the locust's warning? By acting quickly, by rallying your strength and resources, by refusing to be caught off guard. It means staying alert to the small signs that grow into a swarm and responding with decisive action before the chaos takes hold. It means building defenses, not just physical but mental and emotional. Your life's security depends on how well you hear this warning and respond to it. Remember, the locust's arrival is not just about destruction, it's about transformation through endurance. As we close this journey through nature's warnings, remember this: life is full of signs, sometimes whispered through the wings of insects. To live wisely is to listen carefully, to act boldly, and to stand strong no matter the storms ahead. The power to protect your life lies in your awareness and your response. Stay vigilant, stay empowered, and walk boldly into your destiny.